listening to The Real.
Man, I appreciate them dudes for talking about
The Raw.
Wait, they were talking about
The Relatable.
That's exactly what I've been going through.
The Relentlessly Real Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Relentlessly Real Podcast. We are finally starting it. Are y'all excited?
Excited, man.
Yo, I'm so
Finally.
We're finally doing this. That's exciting. So, welcome to the podcast. We're going to discuss real, raw, and relatable topics for you guys. And we're going to talk about everything. We're going to try to keep it as real and as raw as possible for you. We're going to tell you our honest opinion about everything we think and feel on certain topics. My name is Jonathan Jones. I'm married, happily married, ladies, so relax, okay? Married to my wife, Jovita Jones, and I have a little girl, my daughter, Jocelyn. And what's your name over there? Mike?
Hi, my name is Mike.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
This is Mike Williams here. Happily married as well. No kids, but we are having fun working on it. So
That's right. That's a fun time. That's a fun time.
Yeah, pull-out game is strong. I'm sorry. Right.
all right, it's on you too.
So my name is Terrence Robinson. I am also happily married. I have a beautiful wife, Tanisha. I have two kids, Terrence Jr. and my little daughter, London. And that shop is closed. That's game over. Two.
You said you got 3 more in the bag already.
No, that's game over.
Try and get a whole
no
stock.
more.
You could have more kids.
That's okay. Nope. Shop is closed. That's the one thing that we agree on immediately. We are done.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Having kids is exhausting.
Yes, it is.
By
We're
the
going to
way.
talk about that too. Like, not on this today, but we're going to talk about
We're going to talk
that.
about kids.
Yeah, man.
Kids are exhausting. Anyway, we're very happy to start this podcast. We've been talking about it. We've been adding things to social media and everything. So we're excited to see what's going to come of this entire topic. The topic for today is I'm offended. #MeToo. The questions that I'm asking is like, are we becoming just too like sensitive in this culture today? Like, are we becoming that culture? It's like, yo, everything bothers us. Everything's a problem. Everything's an issue. Like, no one is just like, everything's a problem. Like, we always have like, oh, you offended me. You bothered me when you did this. And so like, no one even knows how to act and respond. And I feel like we're always trying to like think ahead as what they might receive things as, like, before we even say it, because we can't just even talk to people no more. Like, what are your thoughts on that? My bad. That should not have rang, but yes.
So I'm actually trying to pull up one of my accounts. So I think because of the political climate that we're in right now, I understand why everyone's kind of on edge. There's no doubt on my mind that 2016 kind of changed like a lot.
Did it change anything, or did it bring things to life? Like, did it unearth things that were already there?
Yeah, I think it put it more on the forefront. I think 2008 thought we were further than we really were, and I think 2016 the election and the person who won the election showed us where we really are as far as the race relations.
Yeah.
And I think because of social media and the ability for somebody to see something real quick,
Yeah.
and it catch fire, I think comments immediately become trend-worthy, and then immediately not only is someone offended, but then everybody becomes offended.
Right.
Yeah, because it starts to unearth things that it gave them a voice, almost, right? Like almost like a foot in the door type thing. So as somebody brings it up, now everybody want to bring up their issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what's funny, you didn't even name the person. Are you talking about Donald Trump?
Of course. 45.
Because it's a very interesting thing, because I think, like you said, when Obama was president, or made to be president, in what, 2008, it was like, we felt like it was a change for the nation for the better. I think we all felt like, because before that, let's be real, we never thought there would be a black president. We have to be honest about that, right? Yeah. So like, that was just not even possible.
Nobody did.
And I actually was listening to a podcast about how they were wildly upset about when Obama wore a tan suit at an Easter event. Y'all remember that?
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
He wore a tan suit, right? And typically as a president, you just blue, black, maybe gray.
Yeah, business type. Yeah.
You keep it business. You better not come out here with a pinstripe, Easter, type suit. He had the tan suit on, and they were like, "Bro, you're, just."
He definitely showed up in his Easter suit.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people up in arms about it, and then I guess now seeing, how viral every moment that Donald Trump has. It kind of be like, well, dang, like we were so tripping over a tan suit for Obama, and this guy, you can't even, whether you like his politics or not, you just can't keep up with how much content he says from day to day that's extremely, well, some would say extremely offensive. Do you find Donald Trump offensive? I have to even ask that because I don't know. Do you find him offensive, or is he just... I
find him, he's extremely blunt. You can tell that he's an extremely blunt person.
Yeah.
And because of the position that he's in, he's trying his best to tone it down.
You think he's trying to tone it down? That's an interesting. I ain't never.
So no. Okay, let me correct it. So somebody is trying their best to tone it down for him.
Yeah.
Because there are obviously writers, right? As far as PR and everything like that.
Right.
Somebody's trying to tone it down for him, but keep it authentic. And I can imagine Donald Trump saying, "Hey, that don't even sound like me. Let me add this in here. Make sure we leave this in here." Stuff like that. So, in my opinion, he's really blunt, bro.
And that's the interesting thing about that's I think that's the scariest thing to me about the political environment, which to me it does impact our everyday environment. Is because he won or is winning because of the things despite the things he says off the cuff. Does that make sense? Like despite when he flies, when the things he said things like, "Oh, there's no way he's done for now. He's done for now." No, he's getting more votes because of it.
What is it? What is that makes him get more votes?
That's what's scary. I'm sorry, and to me, and we're going way back, and trust me, we're going to bring it forward. But the purpose, when you said you're going to grab a woman by the vagina, and you said that at any point, your political career should be done. Yeah. Like prior to 2016, your political career would be like over. Yeah. And then on top of that, he never apologized for it. Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, you're dude, you're done. Yeah. And so he won votes. He won women votes. You make sense. So I'm like, okay, so people are voting for him. Yeah. So if people are voting for him, despite the stuff that means people are identifying with his viewpoints. Right. So I could care less about him, but more so, what is that saying about the people, our everyday people who are around us? Yeah. And so that's the part I think that's scary to me. Like you said, what does it reveal? Mm-hmm. Is it really did it was something new, or did it pretty much were people now more?
They're more inclined
to now come out the woodworks. Yep. And so the other thing I want to say about that, what brings it down today, is so funny. Because we're talking about things that where are we becoming too sensitive, and we're going to talk about a lot of things later on about the cancel culture.
Oh, we're going to talk about it, yeah.
But here's the thing: Donald Trump is the one person, because of laws and Constitution, who he can say things and he's almost untouchable. If you're listening to this podcast, that ain't you. Okay? Yeah. That's not you. Yeah. And a lot of these people are saying things and they are losing their jobs. Yeah. And they think because their president can say it, that they can say these things and they won't lose their jobs. Right. You are losing your job.
I was actually about to say that, because I was like, why is it different rules for him? And the same people try to do the same things that are like the other 19 candidates that are in Democrats. They would do like any of those things. Like if they were to say, "Yeah, I'm grabbing by vagina," or they were remarried 3, 4, 5 times. Like he was remarried. This is his third marriage, I think. Second or third or whatever. So like just because we look at the person, when he didn't even show tax return. Like you just. Down the line, he's like, "I'm not doing anything you guys want me to do. I'm just that unconventional candidate." And everybody's like, "We love him. Yeah. Bring me more people like him." So I think that's just hilarious. So you guys remember about a year ago when those 2 black men were sitting in Starbucks, drinking their coffee? Y'all remember that? Yeah. And they were minding their business, and they were asked to leave, and the police came in. And actually made them leave. And they were asked to leave because of someone feeling triggered or whatever. And they were like, "Yo, I don't want them. They were just sitting there meeting to have coffee. It was just like
they weren't customers. Yeah.
They were customers.
No, well, they weren't. They weren't buying.
They weren't buying anything.
They weren't buying anything. They were
just
literally
sitting.
waiting on a business partner. Or something.
Yeah,
waiting to have a business meeting.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, at the time I was working full time, but like now I'm in Starbucks all the time.
Yeah.
That's like because I left my job or whatever. But in doing that, I'm thinking like, man, that could be easily me.
Yeah.
Because I'll just go and sit at Starbucks, start working, whatever. And someone
the
felt
thing
like,
is, it's not just you though. It's other people that are doing it. So why were they the only ones pointed out?
So we brought that up because recently, they had a campaign, like a hashtag. I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter, but like hashtag dump Starbucks.
Yeah.
Because, officers were standing there drinking their coffee, during their shift or before their shift or whatever. And the barista lady who knew one of the officers asked them to roll out. You got to leave. And when they asked why they had to leave, they were basically told, because you're officers, you're making them feel uncomfortable.
One customer felt uncomfortable. The barista lady knew one of the police officers. Like he probably come in there all the time for coffee, whatever. And he's like, hey, Sheila, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You gotta leave. You got to leave. You're making me feel uncomfortable. Yeah. I'm gonna go to a police station and look, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable. All you guys here, you guys gotta roll out.
As long as I'm in here,
let me know how it works out.
I need you to bail me out. But so that happened, right? So they had a hashtag dump Starbucks because of that, because everyone, when they got wind of this story, they were like, what is happening where you could tell someone to leave, a police officer, because who you going to get to get the police, who you going to get to enforce that?
Yeah. So basically this is like the second time that Starbucks has been like in the national spotlight within the past, really the third time, because the incident happened with the two African American guys. That was one, and then they pretty much closed their stores down.
Oh yeah.
Like 2 months later, that they closed like 3,800 stores for and that made national
training or something like that.
Yeah, for
racial sensitivity.
Yeah. So equity training.
Equity training.
And can we be clear about that for 1 second? That was just literally so we could stay in business.
Yes.
Like that was we cared nothing about the black customers.
And it cost them money.
But let's be real about that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way that one day of training can change an aspect of like.
Of course not.
No.
Of your whole cultural upbringing where you hate black people.
Wait, was it the whole day? It wasn't even a whole day, right?
Yeah, it was the whole day.
It was the whole day.
It was one day.
It wasn't all their stores though, but it was the whole day.
But just to be clear, their coffee has always been wildly overpriced. Now, I do Starbucks love you, so I will have coffee from there. But let's be real about that. Like that's already they're probably upcharging us by like $4 a coffee. They probably buy it for $1, give it to us for $5-6
for the brand. So I mean, they got to make money. So
and that's what I'm saying. That's my point. So I'm like, to shut it down for one day, is that really even saying anything? So I'm just saying that was just cute of them to do. But yeah, and then so this is the third instance you were saying.
And this is so I guess what I'm trying to figure out is you all think that because see, one incident was the police officers removing somebody.
Yeah.
And because somebody felt so customers were uncomfortable with the people being there. This incident, and so the police officers got a lot of backlash, and so did Starbucks. This time, somebody felt upset or felt uncomfortable with the police officers. So this time, like I don't know if the Starbucks employees or the Starbucks manager was like, well, you know what, let's ask the police officers to leave so that way we don't end up on the news, but still ended up on the news. Like it makes sense. Like it's like so. A lot of this is everybody pulling the trigger because everybody is too sensitive. Like.
Well, for this particular topic, let's go back a second. For the black guys that were arrested or removed, right? After the day was said and done, police officers ruled that there was no evidence of them actually committing a crime or anything like that. In my opinion, they probably felt like, okay, dude, why are we here? All right, let's just go ahead and remove these guys because they called, they filed a complaint, whatever like that, and they had to go ahead and do this job. Even like in the video clips and stuff that they showed online, people within the restaurant, white, black, whoever, they were responding to the police officers like, what did they do? Yeah. What did they do? Yeah. Did they do anything wrong? No.
Right.
So why are we going here? And I think with the question of whether we're too sensitive or not, that stems back into the whole police brutality thing, all the Black Lives Matter situation. it's so much more to that than just these black guys being removed. And are we too sensitive? In my opinion, that situation, I don't think we're too sensitive with that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, but so bringing it back to these two. I mean, so I know. So Starbucks issues an apology to these police, to the whole. I think it was Arizona, to the police department. Arizona, Starbucks issued an apology, to the police department, but yet still we got to dump Starbucks the next day, and it's trending again. Dump Starbucks, and so here we are again. Like, what do we do? Because that's why we were talking about this. That they have not really released any further details about this story. But I want to know. I do want to know more about the people. Like, before I can have a further opinion, I want to know more about the one person who had an issue with these police officers before I can make an opinion on, do I really have a problem with this person feeling uncomfortable? Because if this person was a criminal and had some records, okay, then what are you feeling uncomfortable?
Exactly.
You got you got warrants.
So much
you know
more to the
what?
story.
I mean, I didn't even think of it like that. And I'm glad you said that, because I was looking on that story to see if that person was white or black.
Yes.
And if a person was black, and I'm not even trying to be funny in this, like, I can understand why a black person would feel uncomfortable. Yeah. There's validity to that, and so that's why this topic is so important of people being offended, because, like, what's the line? But I get it, because, like, when I get if I'm doing the speed limit, and a police officer gets behind me, my heart's going 30, 40 miles per hour. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to get pulled over. They're about to search the car. I don't have nothing. I don't have no drugs. I don't got nothing. Just the simple fact of I'm about to be pulled over as a black man. Period.
Yes.
Is now
Facts.
Like, you don't have to reach for it. Like, I'm reaching. You've seen people get killed for reaching for, like, their registration that they were asked to get, or their whatever, their license or whatever, the things that they were asked to get. So it's like, to be honest, before we even had this podcast, I was kind of like, yeah, people are too sensitive. But now, and as we're kind of navigating through the topic right now, I'm like, you know what? I can understand why somebody be triggered. But is there triggering saying leave Starbucks? Is that really a valid situation? Is what I'm saying. Like,
I do have a problem with that. I do have a problem with them asking them to leave Starbucks. Like,
really, like, people don't ever hit me, and they hit me right now. I
do have a problem with them asking us to leave Starbucks. I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with someone being triggered, like, Yeah. But I think my issue is if I'm triggered, I remove myself. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you don't work there. You're the customer. You're the customer. You could just remove. I'm just going to leave. Like, you could just remove yourself. Like, at least that's my mindset.
But we've gotten. You know what? It's not even we've gotten to that point. We've been at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, we're now getting to the point where stuff is being put into the media so often, just because of, like, social media, the opportunity to be able to put things out on the internet, video, whatever. Like, all these things are available to us now to be able to put it out there where people actually see the stuff that's been going on for years. Yeah. This ain't nothing new.
Nothing new.
It's just the technology has changed. That's it.
So that I mean, that's a whole nother critical point, though, right? Because technology has made it so we see everything. Yeah. And even to the point where people are on Facebook and they're like showing a live of somebody getting killed. Yeah. Like, it's like in an environment, and we talk about our kids or whatever, going to be having a kid or whatever in life. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to, like, what will that be like for my daughter, for your daughter and your son and your potential kids? Like, what would that be like for them in a climate where they see everything? How do you even shield your children from seeing certain things before their time? You know?
I know we might be skipping around a little bit, but even, like, going into what was the movie that just came out? When They See Us?
Yes.
When They See Us.
Oh man, like, that first episode, like, me and my wife cried. Like, together? We cried after watching that.
Y'all cried together?
Seriously, man. Seriously.
I did not.
And I think it's just because of where we are with.
I saw the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, just where we are with children and our journey. Like just thinking, like, the things that we have to think about to train our kids, to tell them, like how do you guard them from that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can only do but so much. And that's why it's so important, man. Like, you got to stay prayed up out here, not just for yourself, but for your kids, and for God to be able to give you that discernment to be able to speak to them about certain topics.
And with that let's do another question, because, again, we don't know any facts about the person who was in Starbucks. I was talking to John about this. The person could have been Hispanic. and maybe they felt triggered because of the climate that the president is brought in of being deported. And and I don't know if you all saw another trending topic, but Donald Trump has now just asked like all agencies to hand over any information about citizenship. And I currently have students who are in fear that their parents are going to be deported. Because like every agency that is federal government agency now has to turn over anything. Yeah. So it used to be just the census. So this is a big deal. It used to be just the census, but now it's every agency. Yeah. So that includes Social Security. That includes the colleges. That includes if you're applying for federal loans. Right. Has to turn over citizenship information. So if the person could have been Hispanic, it is in Arizona. It's a border state. So they could have been Hispanic. So they're triggered. Like they felt uncomfortable. Like who knows? So I have all these questions. That's why I want to know facts.
But so we are talking about a lot of different things, and I love that we are, because I think it kind of unravels into something else. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about your kids, you seeing it firsthand, that's kind of the problem. Is that most of us don't experience. I don't have nobody that is about to get deported in my circle, so my frame of reference of caring is less. Because you are in and around it. Yeah. You are like, yo, I got a child that has parents that are scared to get deported. That lack of empathy comes from lack of closeness to it. You know what I mean? I think that we got, because that kind of reverberates to a lot of different topics, and we're going to talk about those topics later on in more broadcast podcasts that we have. But even talking about homosexuality and transgender and all that, like those topics have a global view, or you have your own global view of it. Then you have your own okay, now I have a friend or I have this or that's going through that, and it kind of makes it real for you. And to me, it's like that for this particular topic of deportation, I don't have nobody that's real for me, so I don't even think about it, care about it, nothing. You, on the other hand, who's my brother, you are in and around it, and you're like, man, whoever is about to get deported out here. Like it's a real thing for real people that deal with it in those close proximities. So I mean, I think it's a good thing to talk about. I think this entire conversation of social sensitivity, Starbucks is trying to, I guess, they're going to have a problem going forward. I think everybody wants to do something. They want to start something at Starbucks. It's like the on and popping place to go and be like, I feel some kind of way about something.
So that kind of stems into my next topic, talking about the advancements of technology, right? And our ability to be able to put things out on social media and make things more visible. We got to know more context with the stories that come up. Right. So all we know is whatever the media puts out there or allows to be put out there, whether it's a certain clip from a video. It might have been a longer clip. Right. It might have been a longer clip that exposed a lot more that was going on. What started the whole scenario, even with the guy with the short man's complex, whatever. Right. There could have been something that started in the beginning of that caused him to get to that point. But all we seen was that clip of him going off. Right. And some people got alternative motives to that. Even from from getting viewership and stuff like that, getting likes, whatever. Thinking about even the newscasters, they looking for the hottest thing out there right now. And for the past few years, what has it been? Police brutality, right? Sure. So now they're putting out little snippets of things. Oh, we got another black man that's been either abused, that's been wrongfully accused, that's been killed or whatever. And we don't know the whole story. What caused them to get to that point? And not to say that, this justifies those things happening. No, these things are wrong. But we also got to take into consideration what else is happening. And from the police officer's perspective, right? Yeah. So going back into the Starbucks situation with the police officers, like you were saying, what caused that trigger for that customer, or what transpired prior to that situation even happening where they asked them to leave because they made a customer feel uncomfortable?
That's good.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. That transitions us to another topic. We were kind of thinking about the whole MeToo movement a little bit. And to be honest, I got it when it was, when they did it, I was like, okay, hashtag MeToo. I didn't even know the person that was originating the whole Me Too movement. And I had in 1997, it was Miss Burke. She basically sat across from a 13-year-old girl who had been sexually abused, and the young girl was explaining her experience, and it left her feeling speechless And at that moment, she created the Me Too movement. Okay. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, same here.
So I guess what happened was the girl said with her story of being sexually abused or assaulted, and she didn't have a response. This is her speaking. She said, I didn't have a response or a way to help her in that moment, and I couldn't even say me too. Ms. Burke said, it really bothered me, and it sat in my spirit. Ooh, she's churchy. For a long time. She added 10 years after that conversation, Ms. Burke created Just Be Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that helps victims of sexual harassment and assault. She sought out the resources that she had not found readily available to her 10 years before and committed herself to being there for people who had been abused. And she gave her movement a name, which was the Me Too movement. So we all saw where that kind of came from a global perspective. And I just want to talk about a little bit like how, well, one from the global perspective, we can talk about it as well, but even from the microcosmic perspective, where we talk about it, like even on our timelines and or Instagram, Facebook, whatever, people started talking about like how they were personally abused. It was a Me Too, like it really was a movement. Like people were like, yo, Me Too. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, when I was scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and seeing people that, like again, proximity. Yeah. It brings me back to that proximity thing, because I didn't know. You look at these movements, they come, whatever the movement is, like, you know, social sensitivity or Me Too or whatever, you look at it from big thing, you're like, here they go again. But then like somebody says, yeah, I was raped. I was assaulted. And you're just like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, and not that you would know, right? Unless you were actually close to that person where they can be able to confide in you. And that's the nature of the issue, right? Being able to speak out and have a voice. Just what we were saying earlier, like how Donald Trump kind of is giving people a voice now to be able to speak their truths and how they really feel about things.
Right.
It kind of goes into that same subject. Yeah.
And the just I was looking up the data of the Me Too movement, and so yeah, a lot of different data. We know some of the big giants have fallen, but from the Me Too movement, like, so this is as of like. So I'm gonna give you some from as of just of October of last year, but 201 major powerhouse men have lost their jobs, and almost half have been replaced by women. And so John was talking to me, and I was talking to Mike about like the Me Too movement, and as the historian me said, this is really the Me Too movement comes because of the issues of like dominance. Like even reparations is about black men, is about blacks not having like the political power or the economical power. Yeah. What the Me Too movement is almost, even though it is about rape and sexual harassment, those occur because women did not have the political or economical power. And so we're talking about some big name people, Harvey Weinstein being one of them. Like, you know, he's being the main, really the main one. We know about like R. Kelly. We know like that's, he just got arrested the other day. Like, you know, so he's facing state and federal like charges, you know, and so he's a big one. Kevin Spacey is I mean, he lost his host. That's my favorite show too, like House of Cards. He lost his whole spot. And he was basically replaced, on House of Cards. Several politicians, there was one politician, he was one of my favorite Democrats. So this is, and the misconception is this only happens to Republicans. No, there's some Democrats that's going down too. Like, there's some Democrats that's going down with this Me Too movement as well. Yeah. And so, what I think is the reason why I brought in the second stat about that, data about that, is about the being replaced. Like, so Al Franklin was the one I was looking at. Al Franklin was the senator, U.S. senator, very popular, he was very like, you know, against Donald Trump, you know, very popular, like prominent Obama supporter. He had to resign because of allegations, like, you know. And so the reason why I brought that up is because I think it is a good thing that they are being, like, that most of these positions are being replaced by women. Because what it is it is a transfer of power, and it kind of, it's not about giving it, to me it's about equality.
It's like reparations.
Yeah, it is. It's really reparation. It's about equality. Yeah. You know, and it's about leveling the playing field. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and what we're saying is, so some of these are just allegations, and some of these, like, these are not saying that women were raped. but they were sexual harassment. They were like, and what it is she brought up the word like rape culture. And I was just like I wouldn't have gone that far, but my thinking kind of twisted. She was like, well, when you talk about power, I want to say the word right. Misogyny, chauvinist, like those things lead to rape culture. And even though you might not be a rapist, but if you create the environment to allow for rape culture, that's how the sexual harassment and everything takes place.
Yeah.
And those exist when there's not a balance of power. And so that leads us to the article that I shared with John and them the other day. And I'm just gonna read you all basically what happened. And so basically, there's this guy. This is like kind of like breaking news. There's a Mississippi Republican who was running for governor. So I want to know what y'all think about this. There's a Mississippi Republican running for governor, and so he's in Mississippi. This is the Deep South. He's Republican, and he's married. And he was on the campaign trail. So, and he basically saying he refused for a female reporter to spend a day with him on the campaign trail, to be alone with him. And he said he stood by his decision to insist that the reporter, whose name was Larison Campbell, must bring a male colleague if she wanted to do a ride-along with his truck, because he just wanted to keep things professional and avoid a lot of opportunities where it would have been an awkward situation. What do you think about that?
I think that's 100% valid. 100% valid.
So say more.
I feel like that was the political correct way to say, hey, I don't want no problems with this MeToo movement. Bring a guy in here. That way we're all on the same playing field. And I got a witness that I ain't do nothing crazy. I think it looked like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. Because I'm like, bruh, look, in this culture right here where people are like, he did X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. We don't even care. Like, let's be honest. We don't even care whether he really did or didn't do it. Yeah. The perception that we think, oh, he did it. Look at his face. Yeah. Look at him. Look at him on the camera. Look at him looking down at that lady, right? The media finds pictures of him, like, looking at somebody, like, lustfully. He's like, oh, he's just trash. Like, man, please. I would have all y'all, Terrence and Mike, we all gonna be in the van together. And I'm gonna have Terrence gonna be on Facebook Live. Protect your boy. Because at the end of the day, he's trying to make sure, well, one, he mentioned even, I think in the same article, I told my wife I would never be in that space or be in an environment with a woman, period. Mm-hmm. That's, to me, I'm glad that he did that. Because I'm so tired of culture or what we're trying to say is a new wave or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I can still have my own stance. I can still have my own opinion. I don't got to go with what the majority says it has to be. Mm-hmm. Y'all say it has to be that. I don't care. I don't want to do that. Mm. And that's what I feel like we're becoming that whole, if you don't agree with everything I feel, then whatever, you're bad or you're this. No, I just don't agree. And it's okay not to agree. Mm-hmm. I want to have this dude sit in the car with me. And you're a woman, and you could easily say something happened, and it could ruin my chances of keeping my job or ascending to a higher position. So, and my marriage.
So even in the portion where he had mentioned, he told his wife he wouldn't be putting himself in a situation like that. That even speaks on his morals too, and what he carries within his household. Like, forget the politics and stuff like that. I'm gonna respect my wife enough to not put myself in a situation like that, because if something does blow up, that not only affects his image, in the public, but that affects his marriage too and his home life.
No, he better not come up with no scandal later after.
If he does, that just wouldn't be. I can't stand behind him anymore.
Now, the only because I think Mike Pence actually has the same. There are a few politicians. I was doing this research. Yeah. They have the same stance where they won't. The only issue I have with it, because I actually kind of agree with him. I'm okay with him saying that. The only issue I have with him is, be honest, believe it or not, is him saying that the other person had to be a woman. Had to be a man. Mm. I think it should, because to me, I think that's still, then there is still the issue of dominance. I think it should still be, I just say it needs to be a third party. I would say a mutually agreed upon third party. Because I think when you say it has to be a man, I think you would still be an issue is what if those two did something and then she said it did happen. She's trying to make an accusation and those two sided up and yo, you my boy, right? Mm. You see what I mean? I think it should, I would like it where, listen, because of to protect myself against anything, I would like it to where there's a mutually agreed upon third party there, a cameraman, someone to record like for the whole 16 hours. I mean, I even had other questions. Why is there nobody else on this campaign trail in the first place?
Yeah, I don't understand why they. Does that happen? Will you just be one on one with a reporter?
Is there not like a
16
bus?
hours?
Like, there's a bus or something. Like, why? So I just want that's my only thing. I think instead of saying that it has to be a man, just say a mutually exclusive, agreed upon third party. But you brought up a good point because that's like, and this is going to be controversial. This is not my opinion. So
Man, say what you feel.
Don't
you don't care. We're keeping it real
it's
raw.
Not
relatable.
my opinion. But this was actually written by a woman. I want to say she was an actress in France. And so this was published in the New York Times, and she's actually wants to bring down the Me Too movement for the same reasons we were just talking about. She was saying that rape is a crime, but insistent or clumsy flirting is not a crime, nor is gallantry nor is gallantry.
Gallantry. What is that?
It's kind of similar to what she said. The next thing, chauvinist aggression. It's not a crime. But I agree that it's wrong. Dated Monday. As a result of the Weinstein affair, there has been a legitimate realization of the sexual violence women experience, particularly in the workplace. I agree there.
Right.
Where some men abuse their power. Totally agree there. It was necessary. But now this liberation of speech has been turned on its head. They contend that the Me Too movement has led to a campaign of public accusations that have placed undeserving people in the same category as sex offenders without giving them a chance to defend themselves.
You stop banging on the table.
I'm sorry. Without giving them a chance to defend themselves.
Passionate.
This expedited justice already has its victims, men prevented from practicing their profession and punishment, forced to resign, etc. While the only thing they did wrong was touching a knee, trying to steal a kiss, or speaking about intimate things at a work dinner.
Just so we're clear. She's like, all they did was touch his upper
upper
leg.
Girl. I emphatically disagree with her points. So there's 2 points I want to bring about her counterpoint because to me she worded her counterpoint wrong.
Yes,
those things are still wrong. I
think that's inappropriate.
Let me be very clear. It's wrong.
But but it's not. Okay, so to me, and I'm gonna push back. It's not a matter of right or wrong, in my opinion. When I've dealt with women before I was married, whatever, like when you just, it's energy.
Yeah.
It really is. It's an organic energy that you feel. Now, I think some people misread the energy, which can still happen even if you're like, if you're like a regular person that just, you just flirting, you thinking she wants you and she's like, I'm just nice. I don't really actually want you at all. Or I'm gay. Whole time you're like, we're about to hook up. So you're misreading signals, you know what I'm saying? And I think in this culture right now, it's like it's wrong or it's right. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's flow. It's energy. Like is this energy feeling right or is it not feeling right?
And so my opinion is that a lot of guys are gonna go down. A lot of people are gonna go down to the Me Too movement. A lot of people are, and part of me doesn't feel bad because of like my understanding of history and the history of male dominance and history of like it's because of mistakes that men have made in the past. They're going to go down for it because like they're not doing anything wrong. They're flirting. The only thing I do feel bad is when the woman is flirting back and then the male is flirting back. But and then the male gets in trouble. So like my only thing is my only thing is which is why I agree with the guy. Like at this point in time, you should not just don't even do it in your workplace. Like to be honest with you, you need to take everything. If you should pay attention to what's going on in the workplace right now with this Me Too movement. If you are a male in that office in any business at all, you need to just listen.
Don't even look.
Don't even look.
Like at work, you just need to be looking down at your computer and looking down to get to the bathroom, look down to go to lunch. Like don't look up.
Hey John, you want to go to happy hour? Sure. Who all going? Who going with us?
But see, that's the thing. Like it's the culture of life is like, we just go out. We just go out, and so here's the thing: you go out, and I've done that with my coworkers. You go out, you drink. And you're like, we all just having a good time. And I can see how people can misread even that, go back in the office space.
So,
you know what I'm saying? And
so we literally had that conversation the other day at work. And, I looked at it as, all right, we just all do a happy hour, just like normal coworkers do. But one of the guys, he was just like, look, I ain't got to do drinks with y'all, this, that, and the third. We can hang out, cool, but I ain't doing no drinks. Because that could potentially put people in a interesting situation, bring certain things to light, whatever.
But he could have just not drunk too. He didn't have to be like, we can't all drink.
Yeah, I mean, and eventually he changed it up.
Okay.
Eventually he was like, all right, yeah, we can go out, but ain't gonna be no drinks for me.
Is he married?
No, but he is dating.
But see, I think that's the fallout, though. To be honest.
What's the fallout?
I think that's which is okay. I think that is. I think with every movement you're gonna have some good and some bad. Let me be very clear. I am a strong, diehard supporter of the Me Too movement. I can't express it more. I think it's about daggone time. I think it's and every time I see these stories come out in Hollywood, I'm like, wow, like yo, and some of these people are like the dude that directed Rush Hour is going down. Like these are some movies that I love. The dude directed X-Men. It's Russell Simmons. Yeah. Like these are like people who were like big wigs. I'm just like, wow. And I'm like, good. And I never get starstruck. Like people are like, well, maybe I'm like, no, he did it.
My thing is like, at the end of the day, what does that even really mean? Like, I mean, I hear you, and I don't want to dive too deeper into this, but I'm like, oh, with the Me Too movement, what does it mean when we say we support it? Because at the end of the day, I know people are saying like, do you still listen to R. Kelly? Yes. If it comes on, I don't turn R. Kelly on, but if it comes on, if I hear a little what's the bounce, what's he say? Bounce,
ignition.
Yeah, remix the ignition or step in the name of love. I'm a step in the name of love.
I skip it. I'm not gonna
okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like you skipping it means what? Absolutely freaking nothing. It means like, oh, all right, look, I support the Me Too movement. Click. I'm not gonna listen. What does that mean? It means nothing.
Because of everything that was brought out about R. Kelly, now I'm questioning every single song that he's made at this point.
I don't see nothing wrong with Lil Bump and Grind. Yeah. Definitely hits different now.
Next. Right.
But when my daughter gets older, Bill Cosby gonna be on the screen. There were some valuable lessons learned because I watched Bill Cosby growing up.
A different world I definitely will still watch it.
So I'm saying, like, when we say I support the Me Too, I just want to provide some clarity to that. Like, it's like, I support it, meaning what? Nothing. You don't mean nothing behind. It's such a thin veneer of what I think.
So I guess what I mean is a lot.
I believe in the idea.
I believe in the idea. Do I think it's valid? Like some people think some men don't think it's valid. Like it's just like a whole bunch of women like haha. And I'm not on that campaign. Yeah. I do think there will be some negative fallout, and one of the negative fallout will be some men who aren't doing anything besides that will go down, and that's just which is why I'm saying if you want to cover your tracks, just.
The other negative fallout is that people are claiming Me Too when it's not a Me Too situation.
That could be a fallout too.
So like people are saying, yeah, Me Too, and it's like you're just misreading, just flirting, like the lady was saying, like,
and that goes back into selfish gain too, potentially, right?
Because when it's an issue of power, like kind of what most of the Me Too movement is about, where it's like these gateholders or gatekeepers are the ones performing on, whatever with the girls. Say, hey, if you do this, you can get access to whatever movie wise or whatever the case may be. That's a valid Me Too movement type situation, but it's not the same as the original reason why the lady created the Me Too movement. She created it off of somebody's story, a 13-year-old girl's story that was raped. It's become a bigger giant of like, oh, well, it's Me Too and I was raped or whatever, but I was raped for the gain or whatever. I allowed sex to happen for the gain of getting access to movies or whatever. Like it became more than just I was raped. It became more like of a whole thing of I have now access to fame and fortune because of what I went through with this particular individual, Kevin Spacey, whatever big name individual that was. So it kind of evolved the Me Too movement or whatever. But I just think overall, to kind of put a pin in it and say, okay, yeah, the Me Too movement is great. It's awesome. It's something that I think is valid. However, we have to be careful to not believe all things related to the Me Too. I won't say believe. We got to be careful of what people have attached to the Me Too movement that just has become, no, you just misread or like, it has to be some kind of spectrum of how we read. Okay, that's not a valid Me Too situation. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we gotta have context. Some kind of cutoff.
You gotta consider the context.
And I think the incident with the Mississippi guy is is a perfect example. Like I share that with like 7 different people. I shared it with, and out of that 7 people, 5 were female, and out of that group, like 4 of them was like, oh no, he's right here. It's like no, like I'm for Me Too. He's right here. I would have covered my tracks too. No mistake.
All right. So the last thing we want to talk about today is cancel culture, man. You guys, us on Twitter and all that, we go through great lengths to make sure we cancel individuals and cancel the bag for that individual. Very much so. We're very adamant about it, right? So you guys remember, when they almost canceled Kevin Hart, right? When Kevin Hart made his comments years ago on Twitter, but it wasn't recent. It wasn't like he said it a long freaking time ago, and they brought it all back up because he was about to host the Oscars. Okay, so he about to host the Oscars, and they're just like, yeah, bro, we went through your Twitter feed, and we saw that you said this 15 or whatever, however many years ago, and we're offended again. We're re-offended. So like, what the freak is going on? Like, yo, like, and he has clearly not been that individual for however long, right? So, and they were trying to cancel him off of that. But that was a obviously not valid situation. But so you guys remember we talked about earlier today, like the When They See Us like movie, and y'all remember Linda Fairstein? She got canceled.
Yeah,
like they was like, look, lady,
chop legs from underneath.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
don't think about another. You don't even need to think about another book. You don't need to think about another movie. You don't need to think about nothing. Your life is over. And I was like, okay, so cancel culture is cool and all, but for the guys that went to jail for that, and like, let me also say, I didn't even know when I was watching that movie that it was real.
Oh,
I want to throw something at you.
I know you do, but I swear on my life, bro, I was like scrolling through Netflix, and I was like, oh, this looks like a good thing to watch.
I really want to throw something at you right now.
On my life, I watched They should have said based on a true story at the beginning, which they didn't do.
Are you on social media?
I am, but I never heard of the Brooklyn Five.
But that's okay.
No, don't get him out. No, okay.
No, because I think we've done with this whole story about the Central Park Five. That's what it is.
Central Park Five.
Yeah, Central Park Five. What we've done, we're starting to shame other black people that don't know what happened. We're starting to shame them now because you should know this and this, that, and the third. No,
I mean, if you genuinely
why
y'all so mad about it?
Yeah,
don't get mad.
It was really. Big
I wasn't even. You wasn't alive. Well, you was alive.
You were alive too.
You were like 30 then, though.
Yeah, it was big. It was really big in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about it because of the election. It was really big when Donald Trump was running for president.
Okay.
That's when it really became.
So wait, it resurfaced when he ran for president? I didn't even hear nothing about
it. Because he was speaking up about it.
He bought the ad. He bought the ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when. So when his racism, that became evidence of why people believed he was racist because of that whole scenario.
So with that being said, they basically was like, look, Dutton, who I guess is a publishing company, they were like, we're going to release you. This is for Linda Fairstein. We're going to release you. She resigned from her positions on the board of trustees at Vassar College and on the boards of directors of the charities God's Love, We Deliver, which is how are you on a board called God's Love, We Deliver, and you don't even believe people are innocent ever, like when they tell you they are. And then it says the nonprofit Safe Horizon. She basically was just resigned from all of that. Her agent, ICM Partners, also dropped her. So my question is this, and I think it's a pretty valid question. Like, I mean, cancel culture is valid, and I get it. I understand, whatever. But at the end of the day, should we be able to control people's pay, their income, their livelihood? And I'm not saying I have a heart for Linda Fairstein, so relax. All right, everybody on social media, but I am saying, like, should we be canceling their bag, cancel their income, cancel their money with the cancel culture environment? Like, I mean, because the damage has already been done for the 5 men. They've already lived their lives without their families and been in those situations in prison. Like they perfectly say. I mean, can we just say real quick, When They See Us was amazing.
Yeah.
In terms of like
shout out to the director. Is it Dover?
Devernay.
Devernay, yeah. She's dope.
She's amazing.
She's dope.
I love, and like one time we got to like honor it, like just like people that are dope in culture, like that.
Everything she's made
because she make I don't forget the other one she does with like they're on a farm. I should know this because I love that one, but I'll talk about it later. But yeah, like everything she does, everything she touches is dope. And I think the way she she put you in that room.
Yeah.
She put you in that cell. She made you feel what they felt. I didn't cry like you and Renee did, but because I didn't know it was real. So I honestly think I would have handled it differently if I had known.
Yeah.
But even aside from all of that, I just really wonder, like, yo, are we getting too into people's lives? Like, she should, in my opinion, she should be prosecuted. Like, or like she should be like in jail herself for like somehow like mismanaging her position. But stopping her from any future deals, to me, it's like, counterintuitive.
I think cancel culture is a means of when the system doesn't work. So we can sit back and say, "Oh, let's take her to go ahead, let's prosecute her, let's go through the court system." But there have been so many different issues in the past, specifically the what the whole story is about, the Central Park Five, where the system did not work out. Right? It didn't work out in whoever's favor.
It's called Queen Sugar, by the way.
Gotcha. So cancel culture is a means of being able to go beyond that and really get results.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good.
I'm for cancel culture, and also the other lawyer.
You say you're for cancel culture?
I'm definitely for cancel culture. Okay. Elizabeth Lederer definitely, and also the other lawyer. Had to resign too because they were.
I was wondering about her. Yeah, I didn't hear. It
anything. Wasn't as quickly because of the way the movie portrayed it.
Yeah.
And so let me back up. So, and let me see why I know that because you'll get to know if you don't know me. I'm like into movies and television shows like that.
Oh Jesus!
So I saw. If you thought the Ava one was bomb, I saw the actual documentary maybe about a month and a half ago when I knew the movie was coming out, and so. I saw a documentary one that was made. It's on Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah,
really, really dope. They had all the live footage, all the actual interviews, everything.
Yeah,
and that's when I knew about it. So I really wanted to see this movie coming out.
Right,
and I was already angry back then. so I wasn't too angry when the movie came out because I already knew the story. And so they portrayed the other lawyer as not as being. As how she was. As like being a little bit like nicer. And I'm like, that's a lie. Like,
wasn't that way.
No. So she lost. She got canceled too.
Okay.
I'm for cancel culture. I think you should stop using your. It's just a boycott. It goes back to like
yeah. It's like, but it's through social media.
Yeah, and it should trickle down. It's the only power I think we have. The power of the purse and the power of the pen to me is like.
So.
Oh, your purse.
The power of the purse.
Oh, the purse.
Your
place of your purse. Hold on, let's pause it. Because I'm gonna swap out batteries.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also, we need to end it soon.
Yeah.
This was actually really good.
Yeah, man.
As far as how
I was really worried. Like,
you was worried?
Yeah. Please. Yeah. Before we did it.
You know, I'm always that guy that has a moment before the moment. So I'm like, I'm all good up until like right now. Like right when we were about to do it, I'm like, ooh, nerves just hit. All right, how's this gonna go? Yeah. All right, let's just go with it.
This is good.
I think it's good because I'm the exact opposite. I love the moment.
Yeah.
I live for the moment. I just do. That's just part of how.
That's what's up, man. This is so good, y'all. This is so good.
I'm glad I got the battery.
Yeah.
With one part, that little screen kick off, did that matter or anything?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it means it didn't catch everything?
Yeah, I didn't know. Y'all gotta tell me. I didn't even know it went off.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Was it off?
You were in the middle of talking, so I didn't want to.
Was it off for a long time?
It was off for a little bit.
So the vote was, but we still recorded.
Yeah, we still got the actual part. Oh, sorry.
What's that?
Sorry. So yeah, so we need to is it still recording? Yes. Okay, so we need to hit the end of cancel culture.
Okay.
And then go to your real talk.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring one point. Yeah, so I'm for cancel culture. Like again, Ava Lederer got canceled. I'm glad Starbucks caught. I don't want them to get into Starbucks for the. No, I kind of do want them to.
Yo, if we cancel Starbucks, I'm going to cry.
Not cancel like fully. I did want them to take a hit for the two incidents. I think they should. Like I hated the first one. I hated this last incident. Like those police officers should not have been asked to leave. Like I don't agree with that. Like makes sense. Like I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in situations like that, because it's a franchise where it's customer service. Customer comes first, right? In spite of anything, everything, customer always comes first.
I think in that instance, that was just too much first.
It was. It was.
You're not the only one in this restaurant.
Yeah,
they're like,
sir, you can leave.
Yeah, like, you have the full freedom to get your ASS up and leave.
You think y'all think they should cancel Buffalo Wild Wings?
For what? What happened?
Oh,
So if y'all don't know, this happened relatively recently. A Buffalo Wild Wings waitress was fired because she told a black customer that her skin was so dark. So a Texas customer named Tasha Lee walked into this. She was in Buffalo Wild Wings and she handed her ID. I guess she ordered a drink, and I can't even I'm laughing because it was like. How dumb are you? The waitress told her, "Don't take this racially." But sometimes the only way you can tell with black people is from their eyes and their smiles because it's so dark.
but only way you could tell what though?
What?
That they're what?
But
Like they're black?
That you're black?
Let's pause. When you say "don't take this racially,"
It's
off
already,
the top, it's
like,
going
you
to
should stop talking.
You should just stop talking.
Stop talking.
You shouldn't have said don't take this racial.
No. To tell what, to tell what. But at that point, it is immediately offensive.
Whatever you're going to say.
Whatever you're going to say.
It's done. It's done.
And so, do you think, so the thing I'm mad about is, here's what I'm mad about. So yes, the girl should be fired. So that's without a doubt.
Yeah.
She should be fired. I think the girl should be blackballed. Her name should be sent out to the entire community.
But see, here's the thing.
No. I'll be very clear. I want her name distributed to local restaurants in the community. Do not hire this waitress. Here's the thing I was mad about. They gave her a $10 gift card for
for
drink.
receiving that racial
For her drink. If
couldn't cover her meal?
No, John, you and I best know. If this had happened at Apple,
Yeah.
if this had happened at Apple,
I would own Apple.
do you understand the amount of
Yeah.
like the amount of custom, like this would have just like she would have had this iPhone, the next iPhone, and the following iPhone.
Yeah.
Like they gave her so that's why I want them to cancel Buffalo Wild Wings for a little bit because of the follow up from that store manager.
But nobody even cares about that. We care about the what's. Oh my God! I can't believe he said that.
I can't believe about that, but I can't believe about the remedy of it was
give her a $10 gift card.
A $10. That's what, like to me. In my mindset, like, you can't be in my minority that gave another person a $10 gift card because you were told you were so black I could only see your teeth.
I don't think that's a big. I mean, look. When I saw that story, I was like, that's just rude.
That's offensive.
It's offensive, but that's all. As we started the podcast, that's pretty much all I heard all my life.
Yeah.
You got a black shirt on? Where's John? John here?
Yeah, but
Shadow?
I can say that because I'm black, and I'm talking about the lady. I can say that.
Yeah.
But someone white can't say that to.
Was that person white?
I'm pretty sure this person was white.
What if they were black? Would it change how you feel?
Yes, it would change. Am I right?
No, you're wrong. It shouldn't matter. Like, if the statement should not be said whether you're black or white. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it does change. I actually disagree. It would change.
Hit us up on the Instagram, guys. I want to know what y'all thoughts on that. I really would. I want to know. It should. If it's a statement that should not be said, it shouldn't matter the mouth it comes out of.
I think it would even change if an Asian person said it.
You would laugh if you would laugh and leave and be
I think
okay.
it would be different. Here's the thing.
Because you would take an understand. You'd be like, "Yo, I understand. You're Asian." That's what,
No,
so it's okay for you to say that. What kind of?
I think because of the history of blackface, because of the history of racism.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they whoever that white person knows of all those things. If you don't know how they were culturally raised, you don't know.
I agree. Unfortunately, sorry, like that's not my problem.
From a professionalism standpoint, there should be no reason why you should make a comment like that in the customer service realm. Right?
I agree, but let's not act like in customer service they don't teach you to try to have some kind of like bond created. Now, hear me before you laugh. Maybe it wasn't the best initial bond, but like we don't know. Like you know when you're like a waiter, right? And you're like you create that initial thing. You got your flowing. God dang! This is his first podcast, guys.
So
sorry.
funny. Like
you create that. You like all right. You know they're gonna get your drinks. They'll take your order, whatever they leave. They come back. You guys are having a vibe. You vibing with the waiter. You're cool. You're cool now. Now we're friends. Okay. Then she come back and says, hey, "Oh, let me see your ID for the drink, by the way." And y'all already cool. We are. God, you're black. I can't see. The NBA let you do this like you wouldn't be like
no, John.
It's okay. It's okay. We're friends now.
No, like I feel like what? I just think about like because as an educator, like I have teachers and you build rapport. If a teacher ever said that to build rapport for students, like the media will be in it the next day. What did you say to that kid? Like, what?
Okay, so we can agree that maybe she should not have said that to the customer that was.
She shouldn't get a
He or
job.
she. Different-
It doesn't say the sex, does it?
Several different
He or she.
things to say
Listen,
in the
I know
Rolodex of things to gain rapport other than that.
They should have a thing which you shouldn't say. You probably shouldn't say anything about their skin color.
Probably
We
should.
have to talk. We have to bring up UCLA girl. If you hit us up on Instagram so we can share that video of that UCLA girl from years ago who talked about the Asians in her library and all on YouTube and had to quit because she said some things about Asians. Like you can't say it.
Y'all are just wildly sensitive. That's how I feel.
Oh, is that, what's too sensitive? You're right.
So today we talked about being sensitive, being all in your feelings. We talked about cancel culture. We talked about the MeToo movement and how the MeToo movement has become something that has been kind of amazing to watch, culturally on a smaller level, on a bigger level as well. So we close out our segments with the real talk, and Terrence is going to do our real talk for today. Hit it, man.
Okay. So what are we talking about here, people? What are we talking about? What are we ultimately talking about? Somebody said something. Somebody did something. And poor Rebecca at the office. You know, Miss Becky, who always arrives 15 to 20 minutes early for every shift. Mrs. Becky, who runs and tells the supervisor whenever Kareem comes back from lunch 30 seconds too late. Mrs. Becky, who uses her sick time for when she's absolutely sick and doesn't go to her local patient first in urgent care, but no, she goes to her actual physician every time. You know, Becky, who was not your supervisor, but always try to tell you how to do your daggone job. Yes, that Becky. Somebody said something, and Becky was offended, and now Becca, she wants justice, and when does she want it? Well, she wants it now. Now, I hope you can infer through my tone and my sarcasm and my use of stereotypical attributes such as white or black names and behaviors that I am referring to different races. Having gone through extensive equity and diversity trainings and coaches and having worked with the educational system, which, by the way, is systematically not equitable, let me tell you that when it comes to communicating, race matters. In every major headline over sensitivity, race is usually at the core. And if it's not race, then it is usually an issue of dominance. And by dominance, I mean issues that relate to one group that has generally asserted power over another. Man over a woman, heterosexuals over the LGBT community, Christians over non-Christians, wealthy over the middle class, or etc. These groups have generally had power over the other group and have abused that power, especially in these here United States. Now, most of you have never had the extreme pleasure or fortune of sitting in Mr. Robinson's American Government class. Shout out to the alumni of Milford Mill Academy who passed the American Government HSA because of my black excellence. That was a joke. Seriously though, all I'm saying is that these problems existed prior to 1492 when Santa Chris pirated his way to the Bahamas and planted his Spanish flag. They escalated in 1607 in Jamestown, Virginia, despite Disney telling you that some long-haired Native American girl sung some songs to save the world. And here we are in 2019 still needing some sensitivity training when it comes to race relations. Listen, people have and will always be offended when there's a lack of effective communication. Anyone with a degree in communication or anyone who's ever studied communication will tell you that there are several factors to effective communication. This is something that our president has and will never realize. This is why he sucks at his delivery. And if you are like him and you think that the message is the most important factor when communicating, then you are sadly mistaken. Let me educate you real quick. There are 5, ladies and gentlemen. There are 5 important factors to effective communication. There is the purpose or the message. This is the component that describes the information or content that is actually being delivered. The second component is the audience. Understanding who you are delivering the message to is important and should factor in how you shape your message. Am I talking to my bros? Am I talking to my wife? Am I talking to my kids? Am I talking to my students? Am I talking to my coworkers? Am I talking to my teachers? Am I talking to my parents? Those changed my message. The next component is the frequency or timing. That's important because I can have a great message and I can totally be in tune with the audience. But if I don't deliver the message when they are ready to receive it, then the message is still lost. Equally as important as the frequency is the fourth component, which is the delivery vehicle. This describes the method of delivery for my message. This should change depending on the message, the messenger, the audience, and even the frequency. Am I delivering through social media? Am I doing a podcast? Am I doing it through video? Am I doing it through a text message? Anybody, any man in this room that has ever broken up with his girl via text message should know that probably wasn't the best delivery vehicle.
It's the best way.
It's not the best way. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the most important component of communication in a message is the one that we forget, and that's the messenger themselves. Listen, you ever give someone some good advice? Like, you ever been sat down to give someone some good advice and they don't listen to you, but someone else comes along and says the exact same thing and your friend says, yo, that was some good advice. And you sit there with the no teeth look like, boy, I just said the same thing. Listen, you have to face the fact that some people just can't say some things, period. Sometimes the audience won't receive the message, no matter the message, no matter the frequency, and no matter how it's delivered. Sometimes the messenger is more important than the message itself.
Love it, love it, love it. So, guys, thank you guys so much for listening to our very first podcast ever.
Appreciate it. We appreciate
Relentlessly
it.
Real podcast where we talk about real, raw, relatable topics, right? So here's the deal. We're going to have more topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about homosexuality. We're going to talk about masturbation. We're going to talk about being bisexual, like all the pronouns. We're going to talk about everything related to today's culture, right? So we want you guys to interact with us throughout this process, okay? So you guys are more than welcome on our Instagram page or any photos or if we even continue the conversation on the Instagram page. You could say on a comment section things that you want to talk about. The best way to do it, though, is if you send us an email. All right, so we have our email. It's Relentlessly Real Podcast at gmail.com. If you guys have topics that you want us to touch on, we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about Jesus Christ. We're going to talk about everything we could think of. But if you guys have certain things you want to make sure that we hit, please just send us an email. Again, it's Relentlessly Real Podcast at gmail.com. Send it to our email and we'll try our best to touch on those topics, especially women out there that may have questions about things that men are thinking. Those are great topics that we want to make sure we address. We want to answer those questions through podcasts. We want to make sure we address those topics for you guys. But again, thank you so much for listening. Again,
Thanks, guys.
I'm John.
I'm Mike.
I'm Terrence.
And you've listened to Relentlessly Real Podcast.
Peace.